The village of Eichenwalde doesn't appear on any modern maps. It's a place you find by accident, nestled deep within a fog-choked forest in the heart of Europe. I was a folklorist, chasing whispers of a forgotten tradition, and my journey led me down a cobblestone path that seemed to predate history itself. The houses were timber-framed, their roofs sagging under the weight of moss and time. An unnatural silence hung in the air, broken only by the creak of a weather vane or the distant, lonely toll of a church bell. The villagers were strange. Their eyes, a pale, uniform blue, would follow you, but they rarely spoke. When they did, their voices were like the rustling of dry leaves. I found lodging at the only inn, the Silent Crow. The innkeeper, an old man named Klaus, had a face like a road map of wrinkles. He handed me a heavy iron key and simply said, "Don't wander after the bell tolls thrice." A warning, not advice. My room was sparse. A wooden bed, a wash basin, and a single window overlooking the town square. At the center of the square stood a peculiar statue, a large stone effigy of a woman with her face obscured by a carved veil. The villagers would leave offerings at its base, wilted flowers, small animal bones, and intricate dolls woven from straw. They called her the Veiled Mother. That night, as the third bell echoed through the valley, an eerie stillness fell. The streets emptied instantly. I watched from my window as a thick, white fog rolled in, swallowing the village whole. Through the haze, I saw figures moving. They weren't walking. They were gliding, their forms indistinct, their movements jerky and unnatural. They gathered around the statue, their heads bowed. A low, guttural chanting began, a sound that seemed to vibrate in my very bones. I spent the next few days trying to learn more. Klaus was tight-lipped. The villagers would just shake their heads and clutch small straw dolls they carried in their pockets. I managed to speak with a young woman named Elara. She seemed less guarded, her eyes holding a flicker of fear the others lacked. She told me the legend. The Veiled Mother was a spirit who protected the village. In return, she demanded a tribute, not of crops or gold, but of memories. "She takes our sorrows," Elara whispered, her voice trembling. "Our pain, our grief. She weaves them into her veil so we can live in peace." "That sounds wonderful," I said, skeptical. She looked at me, her blue eyes wide with a terror that chilled me to the core. "She takes everything," she clarified. "The good with the bad, the joy of a first love, the pride of a child's first steps, the warmth of a sunny day. We give her our past until we are empty shells, living only in the present moment, day after day, without history." That night, I decided to defy the warning. After the third bell, I crept downstairs and slipped out into the fog. The chanting was louder now, hypnotic. I hid behind a stone well, watching the spectral figures dance around the statue. Their faces were blank, their movements automated. They weren't celebrating, they were performing a ritual they no longer understood. Then I saw it. One by one, the villagers approached the statue. As they got close, a faint, shimmering thread of light would float from their foreheads and be absorbed into the stone veil. With each thread, the villagers' posture would straighten slightly, their expression becoming even more vacant. They were being hollowed out. Suddenly, a twig snapped under my foot. The chanting stopped. Every head turned in my direction. The figures didn't have eyes, just empty sockets, but I felt their collective gaze pierce through me. They started gliding towards me, their pace quickening. Panic seized me. I ran blindly back towards the inn. I burst through the door, bolting it shut, my heart hammering against my ribs. I scrambled up to my room and barricaded the door with a heavy wardrobe. I could hear them outside, scratching at the wood, their whispers seeping through the cracks. I huddled in the corner, clutching my research notes, my memories, my very sense of self. I waited for morning, praying the sun would banish them. As dawn approached, the scratching stopped. Silence returned. Trembling, I peeked out the window. The fog had receded, the square was empty. Relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. My eyes fell upon my reflection in the window pane. I saw my tired, terrified face, and for the first time, I noticed the color of my eyes. They weren't brown anymore. They were a pale, chilling blue. I reached into my pocket, my hand closing around something I didn't remember putting there, a small doll woven from straw. And in the distance, I heard the faint toll of the morning bell, not as a sound, but as a forgotten echo.